Hello, hello.
Hello, can you hear me right?
I can.
Good.
Oh my goodness. Finally.
Finally, yeah. It's my fault that it's took this long. It is like it's took. I have like really dragged this out trying to get this to come together. But yeah, I hope the questions are good, so then it'll be like worth it.
I've been trying. I've been asking a bunch of people to suggest good questions for this.
Yeah,
So, I guess we can start this.
yeah. Go for it.
First up, we can talk about Bear Alpha. Already, starting off with a big question. How much longer will Bear Alpha go on for?
I'm not really sure how to answer that because there isn't really like a cut-off point with Alpha. We're at a point with it where we don't plan anything like major for it anymore. I think we're past that with how long it's been out and the current state it's in. I
Yeah.
think um, I'm not saying it's never going to update again, but it has moved down the ladder of like what we're most interested in, just because we're moving into the phase of our newer releases that are
Yeah.
coming. So I couldn't really put like a timestamp to that. Like I would say we're already past the point of like major support for it, but it's not like abandoned or anything like that.
Okay, so we should still be expecting updates.
Yeah, I don't want to say like expected because like I don't know when we'll next put something out for it, but like
Yeah.
it's not a lost it's not lost like
Yeah. I don't know, just bring back the monthly mobs. Just add in some new mob.
let's get a purple one, a brown one. Like
That would keep the game alive probably.
honestly, it would. Like I remember like when I first started putting those out, and I was like,
It
why do
was
people
great.
like this actually?
It was great. It kept the game alive. The hype was great. What about re-adding older content? Like older events.
I'm not against it. I will say this. I think it's just situational dependent. Like
Yeah.
with, I know there was nothing that came out for Halloween this time. Like for Alpha, like there was like something planned, but like everything
Really?
got disrupted from the time I just got really like sick.
Yeah.
So like nothing could happen. Then it got to the point where it's like it's done. Like there's no
Aw.
time left. We can't get something out. There's just nothing ready. So that was a shame. But I
Christmas is
think
here. It's almost here.
there it is. I won't say anything about if anything's coming for Christmas or not. But the way we do it, just to keep it fresh, like without it having to put too much in there, like
Yeah.
when it comes to returning things, I want to at least put something like different in as well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
at least something that's just new to like chew on, rather than just all of it just being
Yeah.
identical to what's come before.
Well, the two big updates: Christmas 2019, Halloween 2019. Everyone wants those back.
It's funny knowing that they're like those updates are like nearly like 5 years old now,
Yeah.
and like. And I remember like making the Halloween one, and it was like I don't know why I was stressing about it at the time when it was literally just a handful of badges put into a map and then just sent out.
It was
Like,
great. It was so simple.
yeah. The standards have gone up like so much since then, but like it was still kind of fun, like just having something as simple as that.
Yeah. Why did you not add events in previous years? For example, what, Christmas last year? Like that never happened.
I mean, there isn't like any like blanket covering reason to say why certain events did or didn't happen. It could just be a number of factors. It's ranging from like as simple as like we just didn't have like anything or any ideas of something that we think would be worthwhile to put out, or things can just get disrupted to the point where like it just can't happen. Like I just said with like the Halloween, and
Yeah.
also in 2021 with Valentine's, which just never happened because of a disruption. Then it's
In
like there isn't ever like just a set like reason as to why we do or don't certain things. It's just
yeah.
we have like priorities. Certain things get in the way. If it does, that's a shame. If it doesn't, fun and games.
Yeah. And all right, the last event-related question for Alpha: Are there going to be new events like Valentine's or Easter?
I can't say that like there's gonna be, but I can't tell you there isn't, just because like those kind of events aren't planned like ahead of like time, like from now. Like that's kind of far from where we're at right now. While they're not, it's again, it's just another case of like it's not off the menu, but
It's not your
yeah, I don't know.
priority.
Yeah, like there's just again, it's that like there's just so many like other things that come to us now with newer games. In terms of newer events, again, it's just not a no, but like there's nothing
Yeah.
on the table at the moment.
Yeah. I'll still be expecting an update though.
I'm sure you will.
Are you ever going to reveal Formidable Castle? That one map that got cancelled.
No,
No.
So the case with that, like there was like an actual tangible reason as to why that map never came out. So, because at the time it was made with like just in a different perspective at the time. So there were certain parts about it that just weren't suitable for the game anymore. That was then brought to my attention afterwards. I think this might have been talked about in the server like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Just regarding like it was based on something else, and there was a bit of like a grey area with whether that was okay or not. So the original plan was to just like discard that, put something else out, and then we'll come up with like our own castle map eventually, which didn't happen for like the longest time, but we sort of did come back to fulfill that with
The weekly updates.
yeah, with Sunset Plane.
Yeah.
So, but like apart from that, Formidable, it's dead. It's gone.
Like, is there still a version of it out there?
Oh, like I still have the file. Yeah, like I haven't deleted it.
Oh, you
It's
should,
just,
you should reveal it.
Nah, it's staying there.
Is Sam ever coming back? I have to get this one out, you know? Is Sam ever coming back?
You know what? Like, look, listen, right? Never say never, okay? Never say never. This is in like just a long line of questions of, I'm not gonna say anything because it's gonna be held to me, and if something changes, I don't want to be pulled up on it.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel when people keep begging you for Sam to come back?
I don't really feel any type of way about it. Like I understand, like people want the skin, and if I think it's the right time for him to come back, he'll come back.
I mean, well, we
And if he
kind of got
doesn't,
him. With that new Sam, right? Sam, yes, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, so we did release quite a few of them, but at the end of the day, he will come back when I think it's the time suitable. If not, he'll come back in like a future game or something, like, you know.
Ooh. Okay, here's an interesting one. If you could go back and change Alpha, what would you change?
It's an interesting one because I don't know if I would change anything because like I think I try to just do everything with intention. So even if I think something has gone wrong, like I wouldn't go back and change. So like if it's something I do it with intention so that I don't have any actual regret towards anything. But if I would change something, I would have probably never put Whitey character in or Lagoon for that matter. Like I know we've like redesigned it, but like refactored it into something new, which I'm fine with it now. But in retrospect, I would have just like not put them in and took it in a different direction.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that lore's not even finished, right? There's still some stuff left. Or is it finished? I don't even know.
There is some stuff left. Whenever that would ever materialize, I'm not sure. But
why did you want to make the deluxe update for Alpha?
So with Deluxe, I think I was at a point where I was at a crossroads between like Bear Star had come out and not performed to my like expectations. Which in retrospect, I think it was important that Bear Star went the way it did, just for like my own personal growth. But with Deluxe, I think I started it around March 2021, and I'd entertained the idea of doing something to like essentially just tie up all the loose ends around Alpha. That was like the original intention behind it anyway, even though I thought that isn't the way it went. By the time like I started putting the demo out, there was mixed reactions to that as well, because there's going to be people freaking out because of the way it looks. It's more updated, but there was the positive feedback as well. But I think the way I stumbled with it, I lost sight of the original intention of actually rounding out Alpha, because it was. I think I stand by the fact I think Deluxe looks great.
Yeah.
I think like it is a beautiful game, but it's just that there's like I didn't really bring much tangible anything to the table. That's why I changed the way it rolled out and just started changing it into smaller releases just to make Alpha better rather than just like this one big release. I might have trailed off from the original question there. I think I forgot that while I went on that tangent. But I hope that answers it.
When Deluxe first got announced, I just thought it was just Bear Star. Bear Alpha turned into Bear Star. That's how I saw it. Yeah. I was just like, this is just Bear Star.
Which, if it was, I would have been hung at the gallows by everyone.
And we got one last question for Alpha. What would happen to Bear Alpha if Star never released?
I guess we'll never know. Because by then, I'd already like made my mind up on saying, we're just going to go on a Star now. It's going to be great. Didn't go quite to plan, obviously. But like, I think if Bear Star didn't happen, I might have ended up being in a worse position than I am now. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because Bear Star was a very like important step, like just for me, like in terms of just understanding like what works and what doesn't. With Bear Star, it was a way to basically be me saying, I'm tired of like how Bear Alpha is. I want to do something bigger and better. And if I had done what I did with Bear Star onto Bear Alpha, that would have probably just tanked it entirely.
Yeah. Probably, but maybe people would have liked it.
Maybe they would have. There would have been some slightly different reactions, because I know a large part of why people weren't happy about Star originally was the fact of like starting again.
Yeah.
But I still think some of the changes that would have been made onto Alpha just wouldn't have been well received.
Yeah, that wraps up Alpha questions. Now we can move on to Star.
Bear Star.
Why was Bear Star made?
I suppose I kind of touched on it just then with
Yeah.
how like my intentions between Alpha and Star. But I suppose like again, it was just like I wasn't too invested in the way Bear Alpha was going anymore, and I wanted to create something a little more extravagant, and something was honestly probably above my skill level at the time, and I think that's why it released the way it did. Like, because I think regardless of what you think of it, it's quite fair to say that Bear Star released prematurely. Like it should have had a lot more time in the oven before it came out.
Yeah. I feel like Bear Star fully came out after the 2021 Christmas, right? When you hired the new devs and you know the new lobby came out. I think that's when it feels like the game fully came out.
Like I think that's fair to say. I think that is very fair to say, because that's when it went from kind of like this. It kind of still felt like a demo for the longest time, because then I went back to Alpha with Deluxe, and then that kind of like just like left it blank for a long time. So that disrupted that entirely. To summarize it, of why I made Bear Star, it was like the Alpha was going one way and I just wanted to go another, and like I didn't want to just override what people played Alpha for.
Yeah, that's fair. So Bear Star's currently at what, version 0.9.5? Will it ever
Something like
get
that, yeah.
to that 1.0.0 version?
It's probably not. Would everyone like it if I just set the number to that anyway?
Yes.
Should I just do that? It's like, hey guys, we did it. Don't mind. There was 5 updates while you were gone. Don't ask me what was in them.
You gotta find. You gotta find what was added.
Yeah. I put 5 bricks in the lobby. Nah, I don't know. Like, because with Star, I feel like we've done like everything we kind of could have done, like justifiably with it. I know like when we announced saying like it's going to be discontinued after this like time period, like people were like, I thought this was like finally going to start on the come up, but I figured like after the length of time that it was down, I was like, I think we've done enough and can accept that we've done like everything we probably could have in like reasonable time.
Yeah.
Before it was just time to like, all right, on to the next thing.
Yeah, I'm still upset that Bear Star's gone. It's such a good game.
And I know, because like it's interesting. Like the people who do like Bear Star really like it, but like everyone like just kind of outside it just had such a hard time getting into it. So
yeah, I remember.
I think that's why it was a struggle.
I first played the game. I hated it. But then, because I was streaming it, I think I even said in the stream that this is not good. But then I ended the stream, kept playing a bit more, and I loved it. I was like, oh yeah, this is the game. Yeah, I love it.
But like in fairness, I get why people like now I understand like why people hate it on launch, because of how bare bones it was, and no pun intended. But like, and it also launched as a broken mess, because like every time like the lab map came up, everyone was just on the roof.
Yeah.
Like it was like the most basic bug to patch ever, and it just wasn't.
But it was a masterpiece. It's beautiful.
That's what made it special, guys.
Exactly. Here's another thing that I think people really loved about Bear Star: the Manum gift box. Why was that a thing?
Oh, let me tell you the story about the Manum gift box. So like this store, as you might remember him, was around my house at the time Bear Star released, and about an hour before like the release, he was just sat like in my room. And he went, "You should make a badge that we could just give out to everyone." And I was like, "It's a bit late for that, don't you think?" And he was like, "No, man, just do it." And like he talked me into it, so I just put Mandem gift box on there, and then just completely forgot about it. I think we did actually give it out to a couple of people. It was just made on a whim without a plan, and that's why it was like genuinely just left in like a limbo for a while.
Yeah.
So, as a message to other developers, if you're gonna do something like that, just think about what you're gonna do first.
I still get comments saying, "Hey, can I still get the Mano gift box?"
if Cheedaman gets off his lazy ass and plays Bear Star for once, then yeah, you might get it.
What would have you done if Bear Star wasn't discontinued? If you didn't discontinue it?
There was quite a few things I think that we were gonna do.
Level rewards,
but like,
level rewards.
There's that. I mean, that was canned like initially. That's another thing of like, just don't reveal anything until it's ready, because in case you just scrap it, then it's not gonna happen. But level rewards, that would probably have been part of it. I would have liked to like expand Star Sunday, so it's not just like this. Because like originally, I think it was made with good intentions, Star Sunday, but over time, it's one of them things you do need to add more and more things to it to keep it interesting. So, but I really stand by the mechanic of it. I would have liked to add more to that. I think I was myself. I was going to get back into map making a bit, like myself, because like I haven't done that in such a long time. But I didn't find time for that because at the same time I was juggling like Skengines. The little bits and pieces of that, like, and that aside, I would have really. I'm saying this like in the perspective of like we might have actually done it, but it's really just like what I would have liked to have got to if the game managed to stabilize. I would have genuinely liked to have assembled like a bit of some kind of story mode, but
I remember the story mode.
But because of the nature of the game, I just never found the willpower or the want to do it, because since it wasn't stable to begin with, like a story mode, that takes a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and there's not much return other than the fact of people saying, "Yo, this goes crazy." Like, so it would have just been like a massive risk for like very low return. So that's why we never really got around to do that. So I would have really liked to have actually done that, and that was part of what we really wanted to do from the start with Bear Star. But not everything just pans out the way you want it to. So, like, I suppose I'll get to do a story mode in a future game. I'll get my chance to do something like that about something maybe, but not in Bear Star.
I think people have asked you this before. Why not, since Bear Star's discontinued, why not give the ownership to someone else?
I thought about it. Like,
really?
I've been asked it a few times, but I've always just decided against it because it probably sounds really corny, but it is like a part of me in a way of like Bear Star is part of me developing into a proper like developer, because before then my code was still terrible. And even going into Bear Star, my code was still terrible, but it was just such a massive learning experience. And I think just the property of Bear itself is so intertwined with what I do as a brand that I don't know if I would trust anyone enough to take the helm, if so to speak. Like, I don't think it would be bad, but I just don't think it would be the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was Bear Star always going to be named Bear Star?
No, it wasn't. Like for a while, we just like obviously before we even thought of like a name, we were just gonna call it Bear 2. But like Crew was like, don't call it that. That's crap. Like it was a crap name, but it would have been fine. But like we wanted something that was a bit more interesting. The other name that it was gonna be was Days Before Bear, like, which I might hint to how that story was going to pan out. Decided against that just to put it bluntly, in marketing reasons, because that puts the name Bear at the very end of the long name. But like, if the story had materialized, it would have took on that name anyway. But in the end, we just settled with the same name as the studio, which was a little bit less concrete at the time, because I know I was just calling it Bear Star, and that was like the name when we first started doing like proper clothing and stuff for that period of time. But that's why I just settled on that name, because it was just so like intertwined in that time period.
Yeah.
Like that, I've settled on that. And I think going forward, now that Bear Star is discontinued, I'm going to start like spelling out Bear Star instead of using the symbol, just to differentiate it a bit better.
I mean, would you change the game to be called Bear Star?
Nah, like I'd keep the game name that, but like the studio itself, I think I should spell it out, just because I started getting really annoyed at a point, because anytime I'd have to fill out like a form with the studio name, like it would just say like invalid characters when I try to put the full thing on.
All right, we move on to Skengines.
Oh, here we go.
When did you start working on Skengines?
Skengines was, I'm gonna double check while I'm telling you. It would have been about June 2022. The original idea came to me April 2022, when I was just having a conversation with Misto and we were bringing it up. Originally, he was going to be a developer for it, and he made a couple of assets that were in the game, but like apart from that, like he didn't really touch it because he was busy with his own stuff. But so like actual development started in June that year, and I thought, oh, we'll have it out like early 2023. Nope, nearly 2024 by the time it came out. But that's another thing because you never like really anticipate. It's so hard to like estimate how long something's going to take to actually finish.
Yeah.
Because you'll start something, you'll either it's way overshot or way undershot. Like so, that's why I just try and like keep my mouth shut and never say, "Oh, we're doing something this time, like in a month's time," because chances are we're not.
Did you think Skengines was going to be a really big game, as in popularity wise?
The arrogant side of me would probably say yes. I thought so, but at the same time, like I do, like the conscious side of me knows, like you could do like everything right or everything like wrong. You don't know how someone's going to perform until it's actually out there. So like while it was still coming up, it was just such a weird situation for me when it was like I was being told by like pretty much like everyone like they really like it, they really love it, and then, but no one would ever like just come back to play it again. So it was really conflicting in that way. But like I had faith for like a long time. Like I just needed to keep pushing for this. But I could see where some places I might have faltered. I would have obviously really liked to be bigger than it ended up being.
I feel like
I'm over that now.
Yeah, I feel like just racing games on Roblox just never really did well.
Yeah, like I knew from the get-go that I took a huge gamble just by going to that for that genre. So there was like the part of me that was like, this is a really risky move, but I'm arrogant and but I believe in myself enough. Like it's confidence and arrogance are like very closely linked. There's just that slight difference between it, but I did have like the confidence to basically like saying I'm willing to like make this game like. I want this game in my catalog, even if it does fail. Like I believed it would be a massive success, even if it didn't turn out that way. I wanted to make that game anyway.
Was there any reason Skengines had such a different design compared to your other games?
I suppose just by default, considering I've gone from like these horror type games, like with like a old Roblox but horror kind with Bear Alpha, and then like a realism focused one with Bear Star. So going into this like almost arcade like racing game
cool,
with flat but really saturated colors, it's going to be like this massive like conflict, and that kind of goes back to the question about if Skengines would have been a success if it was handled differently, because it was just so left field from what people have come to expect from what I put out. I suppose part of the influence was like I just wanted to make something just so like bright and like saturated, really just rich colors in comparison to just like doing years of like this really like dingy but like gritty like aesthetic with like the other games I've done.
Would you ever do something like a similar style like Skengines did in your newer games? Like
not exactly, but like not no as well. Like because I really like the direction that Skengines went stylistically, but I think it could be like improved upon in many senses, just with like just more fluid like design, like a better take on the aesthetic, because at that time I was still like just it like fresh water. I hadn't touched like this kind of like style before. Working with that like being new was fun, and I think some of some upcoming games that I'm a part of like would probably have that kind of style, but I would like at least there to be something like distinctly different looking about everything I ever put out.
I really like Skengines. It was really new. It was something new. I really loved it, and
I don't want to blow me on trumpet too much, but like I really like loved it as well. Like, but I'm just saying that not just because I'm like because it's my game. It's because I genuinely like enjoyed it. Because coming off the back of the Bear Alpha gameplay for so many years, I wanted just something like really fast and like really exciting, regardless of how the Roblox audience took it, because as far as Roblox is concerned, they haven't really seen that before. But just in the Roblox market itself, there's been like a few racing games, but like I wanted to fill that niche.
Oh yeah, we got one more question. Would you ever reveal all the scrapped Skengines? Like if you had any scrapped plans for Skengines?
Do I even have like much that was scrapped from that game? Well, I think I did detail a couple of things. I don't know if I talk about that map before. Let me just double check before I run my mouth. Yeah, I did mention it. Like because there was like a series of maps that would have come after the ones that we had. Like with one of the one that was coming up next, if the game had performed the way it needed to, was Clam Casino, yeah.
That
which
one.
Was the underwater like casino style thing.
And
I was really excited to do that one because I thought it would be like I wrote that one down like all the way back in like June 2022 when I was first playing the game. And I really wanted to do that one, but it was like a really complicated one that I really didn't want to mess up. But by then, we'd already been approaching the time to like discontinue it because like pretty much we couldn't, again, it was just something we couldn't justify doing because like it just wasn't giving us the returns, unfortunately. So I really wanted to do that one. If I ever get the balls to do like a Skengines 2, I'll put that map is launching with the game.
Yeah. How long did one map take to make?
It depends. Like, I didn't really keep track of that while I was working on it. Before the game even came out, I did hand some of the things over to Biscuit, who he put some of his own things into there. Before then, to be honest, the first map was the grass, like the Forager's Valley,
One,
and that took so like it took embarrassingly long because I hadn't built in so long, even though it's such like a simple thing, but there's just so many like parts everywhere.
Did you model everything?
Like a lot of the base meshes used throughout Skengines as a whole were made by Misto, like when he did have time.
Oh.
And I just like used them in. The word creative is going to be doing so. Yeah, the word creative manner is going to be doing a lot of weightlifting with this, but in a creative manner, just really like just taking them and trying to use them in many ways as I possibly can.
Yeah.
They got faster like as I went along, like when it comes to producing the maps. God, the first one took a while. Like I think it took like 2 months to finish. I wasn't just working on that at the time, obviously, because I was like doing a bunch of other things for other like projects at the time. It was just like at that time when I was still figuring out exactly how I wanted it to look, so it was just so teeth pulling. It maybe took 3 weeks maximum for me to like just between time that I had to put together maps for the game.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty short time for how the game works.
I suppose it is quite reasonable, like in that term. Like the quickest thing was doing the layouts, because I would just like use like that plugin I can't remember the name of, and just like draw out the path and then design the map around that. I have like this whiteboard up in my room so I can just plan out all the maps, and then I would just quickly like make all these layouts and then like spend like the weeks actually decorating it.
Yeah, that's it for Skengines. This one, this one's a little bit. It's really big. It's about the new Bear game that's coming out. If you don't want to answer any, if there's some questions you want to skip, that's totally fine. Any chance could we know what the genre of the new game is?
I'm afraid I can't tell you that.
Can we expect this game in 2024?
No. I don't want to say I know myself when about this game is like aiming to come out. There was a possibility originally that it was going to come out around like the same time that Skengines did, but just this year instead. But because there's been a lot of like just a change of plans like throughout the whole thing, like just to take it to hopefully a much better direction. It's for sure going to come out in 2025. That's absolutely certain. But like I won't say just about when in 2025 it will come out, just in case that changes. And I don't want to get people's hopes up just yet. But when I do actually start teasing the game, you should know like at that moment it's not far away, because I want to just keep that as a nice, concise, like proper rollout.
Do you think this game's gonna revive Bear?
In what way? Because if we're talking about like the franchise, like or like just the brand itself, I think so. Like as the main series, it won't, because it's just like quite far removed from like what people have come to expect.
A lot of new people might join in.
Yeah, like there's elements to it that I think we're calibrating it correctly so that it should appeal to people who do enjoy Bear anyway. But there's the aim is to bring in just lots of new eyes into like this community for like the future of this game, because while I really do appreciate the support that people have given to the games over the years, like it's time, like we need to expand further. Like we just want to do bigger and bigger things so we can justify giving like bigger and better content back.
So do you already have plans after the new game?
Oh yeah, like so the way I operate, to be honest, I don't really stress about ideas that much. So like I already know what games are coming after that game, even though they haven't even started yet. I know what I will be making after that game has come out. And I know like which order I'll be doing them as well. Like, because I have all the ideas that I would want to put into a game and an ideal order of which I think would work. And then from that point, and I want to make a point about this as well for anyone who's trying to get started. I want to say, do not stress it about your ideas too much. You have all the time in the world to figure those out. Only thing that matters is how you execute your ideas. Because you could have the greatest idea in the world, but if you do a terrible job at it, it doesn't matter. But you could take the most like middle of the road idea ever, but just make it into the greatest way possible, and it will just outshine anything else. So that's why I just like to put like all my ideas onto like a timeline, so that when the time comes, I can just think about how I'm gonna do it.
These newer games, are they still related to the Bear character, or is it, or no?
Some of them yes, and some of them no. Like there's good, like because there's other like characters and properties that I want to make and explore with that. I think Bear will always be like the characters and the property itself will always be central to whatever I do. But like there's just other things that I want to bring to the table as well.
Well, would all of this still stay in Roblox, or would you ever move to a different engine?
I don't plan to move off of Roblox. I don't. And if Roblox ever were to go downhill, I don't know if I would actually continue making games. I don't know if I'd move into something else. Yeah, like I say that like, and it sounds a bit like dramatic, like, but I have other things that I want to accomplish as well. And like, if I thought Roblox was gonna go away anytime soon, I would stop already. So that's why I'm continuing with like actual confidence towards this subject, because it's not something I actively think about. And since I already know what I would do it otherwise, like, it doesn't really bother me. In terms of like other engines and stuff, I'm not against it, but Roblox is what I'm most familiar with, and there's just certain things about it that I think just make it really like useful. Like, it's so much easier to just reach like an audience on Roblox than it is some other like outlets. Like, I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, because it definitely has its issues. There's no other like system out there that you can access that could just as easily reach as many people as easily as Roblox, I think.
Will this new game have any horror aspect?
I don't know if I should say that yet, because the plans might change. I suppose, like, I've got this habit of like trying to intertwine something a little bit unsettling to pretty much everything, even if it's like just the most upbeat thing ever. Like, even with Skengines, there was like just certain elements of it that were just a bit weird in that aspect, because I just like to balance that, just like that slight edge with certain things. I feel like if I went into and just saying like, yeah, there's gonna be horror aspects to it, it might like kind of like muddy the surprises a bit.
Well, is this new one gonna have lore?
I suppose it will, yeah.
Well,
Like, admittedly, I'm not that like big on lore myself, but I know a lot of people do enjoy it, and like it's something that people get really invested in. So like, it's not something I would just outright say, no, we're never gonna do lore ever. But like, even though it's not something that personally like I'm that big on, I know that kind of contradicts what I say about like the story mode with Best Star, but like that's more to do with the gameplay that like interests me. But like the lore itself, like, people really like take that to heart, because it kind of just gives them that other perspective into like the world that we're kind of building, and I think that's really useful to like just tell the story we're trying to like communicate, otherwise like non-verbally.
This new game's lore, would it be connected to Bear Alpha or Bear Star's lore? Or is it just something? Would it be something?
It's not connected, no. Like, the things that are connected are generally just somewhat like concepts, the characters obviously, but like certain aspects of the bear, like the bear world itself, I suppose, like, for lack of better wording, like, it carries over. But as far as like the story goes, it's just like, it's not connected like at all to like either Alpha or Star. It's a completely different story, and that'll be pretty obvious from like the get-go.
Oh.
Just because of the angle that we take with it. But I won't say what the angle is yet, because it might just reveal like everything.
I mean, the stuff you're saying right now, people are probably gonna decipher it, try to just guess what the game
I know,
is.
like I've probably already minced my words too much, and like suddenly tomorrow, like, I'm gonna wake up and then just like see, like, everyone's gonna be like, oh, Cheedaman just announced Bear 65, and it's gonna be a Build to Survive game.
A Build to Survive game. Alright, I'll remember that.
Just like someone comes up with a fan game called that, and they're like, oh, for God's sake, now they're going to accuse me of stealing from my fan base.
Will the community be able to contribute to this game?
It's not a no, but it is a no in the traditional sense. And what I mean by that is the way the submissions worked in like Bear Alpha and Star, it would not work at all with this new game. Like, it's just like, tangibly, it's not going to work from both on principles of style and principles of just workflow. With this new game, we're trying to build like an all like encompassing like just universe, because the submissions culture with Alpha and Star, while it created some arguments at some points, it was really beneficial, because it just gave that extra air of like who's gonna it's like extra competition, like of like, who's gonna create like who can create like the best skins and who's gonna get them into the game. The downside that was to it was certain expectations that were created by the submission culture, as well as inconsistencies. And I think the culture behind submissions worked for the community, but to like an outsider's perspective, it was, I imagine it was really, really jarring to join and see a bunch of different like skins in this one game that are all like stylistically different. Like, it was a really like strange like mix. So with this new game, we just really want to just keep and like hone in on getting like this style like down to like a certain perfection. The one thing I thought about is we could do like certain contests to design like certain like characters or certain like things, and then from there we would make them in-house and bring them to life after that. I don't know when those would come, but if we were going to do something like a submission, it would be in that contest format.
Yeah, I like those.
I think towards the end, like after we close like the main submission channel, just like having those open and close like certain things leading up to an event was just a better way of doing it, because it just, when it was just left open permanently, there was just a lot of things coming through that just kind of never had anything to go towards. So
when submissions were open, did you check it regularly?
There's definitely some things I missed. Like I won't lie. There's definitely been some skins I missed, but most of the time I would check when the time would be like most appropriate. So I did check them regularly for a long time. Like usually I would go through them like at least like once a month, and like I would just go through all of them if anything was noteworthy. And then after a while, like some of the people that I work with would just start taking note of them themselves and then bringing them forward and say, what do you think of this one? And we just discuss it from there. God, there is so much in that channel. It's unbelievable.
I'm happy it's not deleted. It's such a good place.
Oh yeah, like there's like I think that and the art channel, like those are the reasons that like that server always needs to be remained open, because if those ever like disappeared, I would be devastated, because there is history in those channels.
Yeah, well, when the server got hacked, what got deleted? General chat, right?
Yeah, it was just general.
Still
Everyone thought like everything was gone, like everything, but like it was just like they couldn't see it. Like if some of those channels were actually gone, that would be terrible. But thankfully, they're still here.
I mean, if all the channels did get deleted, would you have started over with the Discord server, or no?
Like I know I've said a few times like, oh, I hate the Discord server just because of it. So, like not because of anyone in particular, but just like the certain environment it like fosters. Like I thought about a few times of making it like read only, just so like I could put the announcements out. But I think that like a level of like engagement is just really important, and it is like one of the biggest outlets we've got for that. So I think it's just important to just keep that as something people can actually go towards and put the 2 pence in, even if like nothing is like actively happening. Having that stream of just like consciousness, just knowing like there's people who are there that are interested in whatnot. It just gives you a better perspective, I suppose.
But yeah, that wraps up the new game. Okay, this next topic is more just on the random side. Just really anything, anything goes. Both Bear games, the company, anything. Is there ever gonna be collabs with Bear?
So like collabs going forward with future games, yeah?
Yeah, anything really.
I would like that. I'm not sure who or when, but like I would like to start doing that more, because the one we did with Banana Eats, that was really fun. I think at one point there was gonna be like like an actual like Bear Banana Eats one, like, but that was like quite a while before that. But we both just kind of like forgot about it, I suppose. And there was also the thing about maybe doing one with Piggy, but then that never really materialized. But
did you talk to Mewtwo about it?
I did, yeah. I spoke to him about it at the time. Like I sent him a message saying like, "What's all this about?" And he was like, we just kind of went back and forth for a moment, saying like we were both interested. He said he'd speak with like his team, and then I would go speak to mine. But then like beyond that point, we just it just never really turned into anything. So that's why when the one with Skengines and Banana Eats came out, I was like, right, I cannot allow this to just fade into the abyss again, because I've allowed that to happen like twice now, and like so I couldn't allow it to happen again.
Yeah.
Like we need to have, because this is going to be really fun, and it was. I really enjoyed doing that one, and I would like to do like just bigger and bigger collabs in the future, like not necessarily with like bigger and bigger like people. That doesn't really matter, but just like bigger scale collabs, like more like things for like either side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What kind of games do you want to collab with?
I don't think there's any particular criteria. I suppose like on a certain principle, it like kind of depends. I prefer to collaborate with games that kind of hold their own kind of identity. So that would basically say, no, I don't want to collaborate with like Shoe Simulator 5. like it, I want it. It has to be like something where there's something shared and engaging about the characters and the story, like the world building and things like that. There has to be something to it that doesn't just feel like a brand partnership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it should feel like a natural crossover. So that's the only thing I would really look for in that. And there's obviously also like compatibility between games as well. I know like Banana Eating Skengines was a really wild one, but I think it kind of worked at the same time because of that. But obviously, in certain circumstances, just some things would just be a bit like, what is going on?
Would you collab with Rye again?
I would, yeah. I like Rai. He's really cool. Get along with him really well. I would consider him a proper like friend as well.
Oh.
So and he is a class act to work with. So I would be completely down to just work with him on like whatever.
Oh, you guys should make your own games together.
I have no idea what we'd make if we were gonna make a game at the same time, which is a whole different kettle of fish.
Bear eats.
Yeah, just Bear eats. You just have to feed Bear. At the end of the day, I would really like to collaborate with him again.
Is the merch shop ever going to open?
I really hope so. I really hope so. And I'll tell you this. I've been wanting to get it open for like the longest time, and that is contradictory because I haven't really been doing much to actually get it open. But I also want to do it at the right time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to do it when it is a proper like worthwhile investment. I want to do it well. I don't want to just do like this small fringe case because the bear plush I think was a good thing to do, but the nightmare I went through with it and for like the scale, with the amount that were sold, it was just kind of like a lot of time and a lot of thought just for like this small like thing that just came and went. So I want to do it at a time where we have the resources to invest into it, so it's something we can actually just put out and keep open and not just keep as like this like just this one like exclusive thing that comes out. I think exclusive things are fun. I think that would be great to do like limited edition things and all that. But I want it to just be like, I want it to be accessible, you know, and not just like exclusive to just this small period of time, just like as this one-off thing. I want to do the plushes and I want to get back into doing clothing and things like that. I want to go even further than that. Like I wrote down on like before, I even want to get to the point where I'm doing like jewelry and shit like that.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think I'm supposed to swear on the TMG Boom channel, but I have. But like that's the thing that just interests me. I don't know when that'll happen, but that is what I want to do.
Bear jewelry, that would be cool.
That would be so hard. Like it would be so cool. Like can you imagine just like just a chain with like a diamond, like an iced out bear like pendant on it? I think I remember like saying like years ago, I'm gonna actually make that. I'm gonna get that piece made. I'm gonna never take it off.
Would you ever bring back the bear plushie?
Not the exact one from before. So anyone who did get one, count yourself lucky. I want to actually do one that because we did like that kind of like cartoon like more just less rigid version of Bear, I would say. I would like to do one that's just a lot more accurate to Bear himself. There's all sorts of plushes I want to do as well. Like I want to do Sam. I want to do like the other characters and things like that.
Oh god, a ball plush would look hideous.
It would. Like imagine just that sat in your room in the corner.
Make its eyes glow in the dark.
That's a good idea. We should have you on at the boardroom when we make this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I really want to do that, but like a lot goes into it, and I want to do it right. And I want to keep it up and not just have it as like this one-off thing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, the most important question. This question's been around since what, 2021? When will Whitey's and Fun Adventure in Skengland release?
Oh my god. Okay, like I know I've always just like kind of like dragged them out like legs across the floor with this one, like just like it's coming, it's definitely gonna happen, I promised it's gonna happen. I'll tell you this because I know people will actually want to hear something tangible that is happening and not just me saying I don't want to say anything, but I'll tell you this, it is in development. Like, it's not in terms of like, it's something that I'm just personally working on. I'm not having anyone else on this. I know exactly what I want to do with it. And it will be coming, and I hope it does come next year alongside the other new game. It's just like a nice extra to just go along with. Like it's not connected anyway, but it's just something to just like sink your teeth into. Yeah. And I think it is going to be worth. I do actually think it will be worth the wait for what it is. I do genuinely think that. I remember I promised it on the whim, not even like knowing what I wanted to do with it, but just over time, it eventually just came to me like what it should be, and I think I can confidently say it's coming at the right time. Like, because if I'd have forced it out like years ago, it would have been just something like, aha, there it is and gone. But like, it's kind of like become its own thing now. Not to gas it up too much before anyone even knows anything that's going to be in it. It's coming. It's coming. Like it is.
Are you getting tired of the bear, like the bear characters?
Characters themselves, no. Like I've had like the plush like originals themselves like for pretty much the most of my life anyway. So like they've always just been in my house. I don't think I get tired of the characters and the property itself, just because it is so intertwined with what I do and the fact that there is so much I could do with it. The bear type of gameplay itself, I'm personally tired of it. I don't think it's bad, but I just think I want to do other things. And if I ever were to do like a bear type game again, like I would probably change quite a lot about it, regardless of what people would think of that statement. For the future audience, they would just want something just a little bit more pronounced, because it really worked for the time period, and I don't want to just keep doing that same thing again.
Yeah, I feel like especially the later years for for Bear, the two Bear games. I feel like people, they didn't really care about the gameplay too much anymore, but they just really focused on just getting the skins or playing getting the quest and all that.
Like all that is like kind of like it's all well and good, but like kind of crosses a boundary where it goes from like just enjoying the game and then just feeling like kind of, I don't know how else to put it, but like kind of like obligated to just keep it up, rather than just enjoying it for what it is. I suppose it's just kind of like a trap a lot of games end up falling into when they're like live service, because like with something that's just releases and it's done, like some of like the old, like I don't know, like Mario Galaxy or something. You play through it you just to enjoy it, because there's not an obligation to keep playing it. I would like to in future releases just counter that like notion of just feeling like there's a double-edged psychology to it, but I wouldn't like people to just feel obligated to play just for playing's sake, because then that kind of looks bad on me. I want to actually provide an experience that's actually just worth playing for itself, and not just because there's like this pressure to just keep it up instead.
Are you going to do streams on developing?
I'm not going to say no, because I think it could be quite fun, and I've thought about doing like videos before, but it's just not something that I could like really fit in with everything else. In some circumstances maybe, but like, see, I just prefer to keep everything under wraps, like before it's come out. So maybe if there's like smaller projects or something like that, or if I get into just making something that kind of can be referred to as like a tutorial or like something to just learn from, maybe then I'll do something like that. But as far as like my main projects go, I'd rather just keep the process hidden so that people don't see like, oh, like they're just like, because a lot of it, to be honest, can be quite boring to just look through, like. And I'd rather just not have the code on the screen, especially now that's the majority of what I do.
Well, what about just making videos, just fun videos in general? When's the next Club Penguin video?
For God's sake. It's something I thought about, and it might be something I do, because I think it would be fun. If that's something people would like to see, maybe I will try it out.
Oh, they definitely will. They're still, everyone's bummed out about you unlisting the Club Penguin video.
I know people kind of like that video, like either as a genuine or just because it's like funny, because the way I talked when I was like I might have I had just turned 15 then or something, but it's just a video that I am not proud of anymore. It's been such a long time since I've made videos. I'm out of the habit of it. I was actually going to make one that was quite long, and I ended up scrapping it. Like, cause that's just a bad habit I have with like video production anyway. Like, like people have that when they make games. I just have that with video producing. Like I start it and then I trail off and just never ever finish it. I would like to change that. And I know what I would produce if I got into making. It's just if I ever find like the want to do it. You know what I mean?
I'll take your job. You take my job. How about that?
Just a job swap for like a week, and just neither of us have any idea what we're doing.
Hey, that would make for a great April Fool's.
Yeah. I've come back with like these videos that I've got your channel to like 0 subscribers, like, and all the games are broken.
April Fool's. Are you ever planning on hiring more developers?
I can't really like just answer that question just because it's such a situational dependent thing.
Do you need developers?
Like, at the moment, no. Well, like the way I see it, there's a couple of like things that need to be met before that's done. Like, because a trap that a lot of like people fall into is when they want to make a game, they might not have all the skills necessary, but they still want to make it, and they want to make it like quickly, so they bring in all of their friends who also don't know what they're doing or have like a few fringe skills. And it's no one's fault really. But it's just really, really poor management in the fact that you bring in all these people, you don't know how to manage them, and nothing ever goes anywhere because no one really like cares enough to do anything about it. So the way I just look at it is people have to be reliable, and in return I have to be able to offer enough for like the work they do, and there has to be work that they can do anyway. Like that has to be the method for it. And as we move into bigger and bigger things, and like my time gets more and more stretched, that'll be the time to start bringing in more people. But for now, no.
From what I know, I don't think there's any. You don't have any scripters. Would you ever hire scripters?
This is a controversial topic in the insiders of Bear Star Company. This one, but short answer yes. Long answer it's complicated. Like it would again. It has to be at the right time. But scripters, it's just another level where extra circumstances have to be met. Again, reliability and like just general ability, because like proper good tangible scripters don't come cheap, and they shouldn't come cheap because it is a very like difficult skill to learn. I'm not saying that to discount any of the others, but like good like reliable scripters are generally just harder to come by. There's a certain level of trust there as well. At this current moment in time, if I can go without it, I'll go without it because I'm more than capable of just doing what I need to do right now myself. And when the time becomes necessary to keep things going at the proper pace it needs to, that's when I'd have to like actually just bend it like and just say, okay, now it's time to bring in someone else to just help with that.
How's your music career going?
I'll tell you this, I haven't made like a song in a while, but for the most part, I just make tracks for the games that I make. Like that's like most of the time that I'm making stuff. Like either that or I'm just messing around with like FL Studio and stuff, and just or trying to recreate certain songs just as like practice, because I just enjoy trying to figure that out.
Would you ever go like a music direction?
Maybe. You never know. Like maybe if Roblox did shut down, you'd just see me on stage at like Coachella or something. But as much as I enjoy it, it's just something I just do in tandem with everything else. Like I just do it to help with other things, and I really just love music as the art form itself. Just I don't really see it as like a career path. I just see it as something to just complement everything else I do.
So okay, you know how in Bear Star you have a survivor skin. What? It's a skater Cheedaman skin.
I do.
Do you skate in real life?
I do not. Like I think one of my mates like let me get on his skateboard at one point, and I like just nearly collapsed immediately. I can't skate at all. I have terrible coordination. Like out of all the skills in my toolbox, coordination with my feet is not one of them. And balance is certainly not one either.
And that's why you're a game developer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I had to do something virtual because I literally just cannot skate.
It's funny. What was the intention of adding those survivor skins?
Like the as a whole,
ones.
or just those ones?
Just the skater ones.
I just thought it was funny. Like I just think like because there was the skater anyway, and I thought I want to skate as well, and then everyone else wanted to skate. Like so, a couple of people got their own skater ones instead of just walking around.
See, these questions are all over the place, but what would you have made next if Bear Alpha never took off?
The probable answer is this other like game that was the other option to make than Bear Alpha, but my heart went with Bear Alpha just because it felt like the right one to make, and clearly it was. But the other one was essentially along the lines of like this old Roblox brick battle minigames type of deal, which I think could have been fun, but it wouldn't have stood out in the same way Bear Alpha would have. That's for sure. And I think I still have like the project like somewhere. Like there was hardly anything made for it because I just like not even long after I thought of that one, I just moved into Bear Alpha anyway. That would have been the likely thing that would have made next if Bear Alpha just never took off.
Maybe we'll see that game sometime soon.
Maybe I'll just pull it up again. I'll just do something similar to that. But
are you still working on the unfinished business project?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not. I kind of wish I could have told you yes, but I'm not. Out of like everything that I've got going on right now, tying up like my old projects is like out of my 99 problems, it's like number 100. To put it like lightly. But there's just other things I'm just far more interested in making it. I still think the idea of it would just be really fun and really interesting. But at this moment in time, nah. Like what I did was with the unfinished business thing as a whole, I had already like decided. It was mainly. It didn't really. Not much of it has really gotten past just the plan. Like, because I decided what was going to be featured in it and what I would do with each of the projects. Because there was more than just like just finishing it or just fixing it up. There was like, what can I do to actually make it more interesting? Because a lot of like my old project files with Roblox are just terrible at like nothing. Like there's just nothing burgers essentially. So the ideas was there, but because I could at the time I could never commit to anything. Like nothing ever got finished, and that's why it would exist in the first place under unfinished business. So ironically, unfinished business is unfinished business.
If you were to remove any skin from the Bear games, which one would you remove?
Oh, Kane.
Oh.
I'll just leave it at that.
How did you come up with the name Cheedaman?
Honestly, mate, like that, I put that username down like 11 years ago, like nearly 12 years ago. I cannot remember at all where it comes from. I cannot remember at all. Maybe something to do with cheese, maybe not. I don't know.
Are you always gonna keep the name Cheedaman? Cheed?
I think I will. Like I know, like most of the time now, it's just shortened down to Cheed, which is easier. I think I'll just hold on to the name just because I don't feel a need to change it because it just feels right and to be associated with what I do.
Which do you prefer, Bear Alpha or Bear Star?
I don't want to just give like a boring answer and just say like, oh, I love all of them equally because they're also like. So I'll go into what I like about both of them. I think Bear Star is. I think I'm proud of how polished it's become. I'm proud of like just a lot of. Just like, I'd say probably it kind of might be a bit like superficial, but like the events, the kind of like, because the aim with it is to like put on a show, essentially. Like that's the feeling that I went for with making things for the start. I just wanted to create like moments, because I think moments are just so important. In terms, because like that, those are the things that stick in your mind rather than just like, yo guys, it's a big update, we got this. Like I wanted people to feel a certain type of way when they play one of my games. So, and I think that is what I tried to capture with Bear Star, and I think in many aspects that was a success. Maybe some aspects not as much, but that is, and I think with Bear Star, it is just like such a development process for me itself, and developing into just a better creator. With Bear Alpha, I think it's more about an energy. It's a certain energy of the time period. It's just like even going into it before the game had even come out, like I just kind of had like this instinct that I knew I had something that was going to work. Like I didn't know it was going to work to the extent that it did, but I knew something about it was going to click. And I remember before the game even came out, this is a side note, for some reason I had this dream where I woke up and the game was on like 7,000 people, and like obviously it surpassed that as well, which was crazy at the time. But like just the fact that like my brain was thinking about that in my sleep. For Bear Alpha, it's about the energy. With Bear Star, it's just about like the all-encompassing like package of like the moments and things like that. So it's just, I suppose, whatever I prefer like at any given moment. I know that moments yet again, but like I can't really. I suppose I could pick one over the other. I suppose like in many aspects I could just say Alpha is the better one. Like Alpha, in terms of what it has like become and accomplished, in terms of what I'm proud of, in terms of development, Star.
No, that's a good answer. Yeah, we got one more topic. The future for the company, future for everything.
Future.
Will you still be making Roblox games in 5 to 10 years?
Probably. If things go right, yes. If things go horribly wrong, I'd probably switch it to something else. But like if things go right, I would probably be doing Roblox. I know that sounds backwards, like you'd be doing Roblox games in 10 years time. Yes, I would, because if it's going well, then yes.
Well, what do you mean by going really horribly?
Like I mean like in terms of if I put like my next few games out and no one cares, like the things I care about most is like not even the fact of if people, I don't really mind if people hate what I do. It's if no one cares about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what stung the most about Skengines in comparison to Best Star, because people didn't like Best Star, but people didn't care about Skengines, and that stung the most. I'm over it now, but that stung. If people just stopped caring about what I do entirely, that I would consider going horribly wrong.
What are you going to do after Bear's over?
Like, as in the company and everything, or
As in Bear Games, I think. Like, well, what's the company gonna do?
main series games, eventually they will just stop because there's only so much you can do with that before it just gets ridiculous. I think with my intentions, I don't think currently I'd ever just like stop making games until it like maybe I think the natural progression is eventually I'll just become more and more hands off with it and like just more and more people working on whatever it is. I wouldn't like to be completely hands off, but as you just move into bigger and bigger things, naturally you kind of have to just stretch your time more thin and focus on the bigger picture. In terms of just games in general, I don't plan to stop making games. I don't really entertain that question. I know what I'd do if I did, but I think if I contemplate that idea too much, it would then compromise what I'm doing anyway, because then I'll be thinking of, oh, if it goes wrong, I'll just move into this anyway. The day I stop making games will be the day it's no longer fun, I would say.
Well, will the company always be called the Bear Company?
I suppose so. Like we call it Bear Company, but it's the name kind of just changes on a dime piece, a constant, because I'm slightly indecisive of what I want to call it, because I know it was just Bear with the asterisk for the star, then Bear Star, and now like I'm contemplating changing it to Bear Star Life, and so like the name keeps changing like that. But I suppose it's just like it's. I think it will always be Bear Star because that name is stuck. But I do like the sound of Bear Star Life, which might become like its own thing or something. I don't know.
There was a question about transferring ownership again, like just the company as a whole, but you kind of answered that.
Well, company as a whole, I think that could be a little bit different to the question about the games in specific. Like, eventually it will come a point where either I have to walk away from it for whatever reasons, or if I just like die, it has to go to someone. That is another question of like, it would be like situationally dependent on where the company is at anyway, and like if there's anyone I trust to like just take it like forward. If there was no one I would trust to do it, it would just probably just dissolve. Like it just keep up like just all the things that were already released and just keep everything just away. But I don't think I'd ever just transfer ownership of like what I've done, because the amount I've built up, it's just again it's like intertwined with me myself. So I just wouldn't want to put that towards someone else. I don't know, maybe like a massive corporation will offer me like 30 billion and then I'll be like, I can't say no to that, sorry. We're gonna have to put like 1 million microtransactions when you take a step in Bear Alpha. It would be horrifying. Like I'd have to like run away with like copies of the games and then like smuggle them on the black market.
Something you would probably do.
As a nice all-encompassing thing, just so people don't run with like that long-winded answer. No, I am not selling the company. I am not selling the games. That is not happening.
And I think that's where the interview ends. Thank you.
Hey, all the questions.
Thank you. Thank you for actually making this happen.
Thank you for having the patience to wait all this time for me to actually just get on here and answer these questions. That stupid game I made in 2019 has brought us to this moment now.
The butterfly.
Isn't that fascinating?
The butterfly effect.
Yeah, it is literally the butterfly effect.
I don't know where I would be if Bear wasn't a thing.
Everything happens for a reason, guys. I don't actually believe in that sentiment, but yeah, if that's everything,
I think it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
Maybe in the future.
It's been fun. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah. Maybe
So,
in the future, we got to do something else. another collab.
Yeah, like it just becomes like a every 2-year thing. Just
Yeah.
where I'm at. Like it either gets even like more optimistic, or it's like, yeah, oh TMG, I'm homeless now. I've had to sold everything to keep this game.
All right. Good luck with whatever you do.
Thank you very much.
Hope you get better, since I think you're still a little bit sick.
I'm mostly better now. Like,
That's good.
It's just like my voice is just gravelly. That's all.
Yeah. Good luck with your future projects, and yeah, hopefully I don't see you when you're homeless next time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and best of luck editing this video down on whatever you make in the future. And I'll catch you later. See ya.